Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, March the 27th? 27th. Pretty sure it's the 27th. I didn't get up with the motto this morning. I didn't sleep very good last night. So I didn't even hear his alarm get up. I didn't hear him get out of bed, get ready for work or anything. So I missed making him breakfast this morning. I must have had something going on up here because I just have stuff coming out of my eyes and my nose is all runny. But otherwise I feel fine. I don't feel sick. I don't know what's going on here. Let's make some coffee, shall we? I am gonna have to get some more cream. All right. Oh, God. Does anybody else look forward to that first cup of coffee in the morning? Like, sometimes I feel like I just can't communicate until I've had a cup of coffee. Is that like a psychosomatic thing that we just kind of link those two behaviors together? Cup of coffee and being a nice person? Because sometimes I really feel that way. Even though I'm here alone by myself in the morning, so I can kind of take my mornings kind of like at a low key, low stride. I can do whatever I want at the pace that I want, and I don't really have anybody, coming at me sideways or anything. So I feel like I shouldn't even need coffee because I'm only dealing with myself. But I think it does. I think it does help. I love the warm, creamy sweetness in the morning, especially on these cold mornings. It is starting to warm up because it's, we're coming into April now. March flew by. Can we talk for just a second? How fast March flew by. I mean, just a couple of videos ago, I was celebrating Amato's birthday. And then my son's birthday. And then my stepdaughter's birthday. The month is over. I'm ready for spring though. And I'm ready for summer. I am not ready for the ants. I'm just not. Look, I'm getting so heated up. Let me have my cup of coffee. Let me take a sip of coffee before I get started. I keep all of our coffee stuff here in the mornings. We just sit at the table and we can make our coffee and we can talk in the morning. Except for the honey. I can't leave the honey up there because the ants get to it. I can't put it in the pantry. I can't put it anywhere. I have to leave it either on the stove or right by the sink. So we keep it by the sink so the ants can't get to it. This is the coffee that he buys on Amazon. And there's a few different flavors there. And sometimes he'll mix. He'll put a half of one flavor and half of another flavor, and they come out really good. They're just absolutely delicious. But like I said, I'm okay with my Cafe Bustelo. I do kind of miss my the little K-pods every once in a while, the Keurig. But I brought the Keurig to California to put in the trailer at my mom's house. So when I'm visiting my mom and my kids, I can just have just a quick cup, make a quick cup, and then walk over to her house and we can sit and we can have our coffee together. So that just makes it so much easier while I'm there, but I don't have one here. We also have a French press. We have two French presses, actually. Right now they're hanging up in our garage, but there was one in the trailer that I need to bring back. I accidentally brought that back to Washington from California, but it belongs in the trailer in California. And then we had one in here that I was using after I brought the K-Pod to California. And then I was just, I'll just go through all my coffee because during COVID, I was buying these big bags of coffee from Winco, one of my favorite types of coffee. And I was using that, and for some reason it just wasn't tasting that good. I just couldn't get my recipe for my cup of coffee right. I don't know. So I was like, I think I'll just start using the instant coffee because Amato was already drinking it because it's just faster for him. And so I started drinking it, and I really didn't like it at first, but then I found my recipe. I found my ratio. coffee to honey. I want to say sweetener, but I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression and think that I'm putting like Sweet and Low or, you know, those the fake sweeteners in there. So I just like it to taste good, and I finally found that recipe, and so now that's what I'm drinking on a regular basis, and I'm loving it. It just has to taste right. A model laughs at me because I do so much to my coffee, but I mean, hello, it's like cooking a meal. You got to make it taste good. So really my main goal for today is to get Tuesday's video edited. It'll already be up and out by the time you guys see this video, but they won't be released continuously, you know, every day. There's going to be probably a gap. I don't know. I'm going to say it one more time. I don't know. Oh. I do need to get back into my Pilates. Since September, I have gained, well, I gained 10 pounds, but I lost 4. So I was about 164 pounds in September when I left to go to California. And then I got highly complacent. I didn't record any videos. I had every intention of recording some videos, maybe even doing a couple of videos with my mom, but I never got around to it. I was just enjoying taking care of my son's cat. That's going to be another video. I want to talk about my son's cat. So I took care of her for a while let me back up. So I headed to California. That was the last video in September I did. We bought a half a cow. I needed to empty out one of our freezers to make room for this half a cow. So I bought a huge cooler. I took everything out of the freezer. I packed it all up, put it in the cooler, and I took it to California and divided all that meat up between my boys and a model's daughter. And then Sam, we also gave Sam some. He lives about an hour away, so I wasn't really too worried about him because they come over pretty often. So if I have anything, I'll just, you know, give them a bag, you know, full of food, you know, just to kind of help them out a little bit. So I went to originally help my son Ruben and his girlfriend Kimberly move into their campus housing, their apartment. So I got him moved into his apartment while him and his girlfriend Kimberly in July, May, June, somewhere around there, found a couple of kittens. And one of the kittens was paralyzed, couldn't move her back legs, and the other one was just a rambunctious little thing. So they did have to bring the little calico, the disabled one, to a shelter. They're pretty sure, we like to think in our heads that they rehabilitated us, maybe found her a home. But the likely scenario is that they probably put her to sleep. They probably euthanized her. They started to try to find a home for this other cat, but they just fell in love, and you'll see why, because she has just the most beautiful eyes. She's just so cute. Anyways, they ended up keeping her, but they weren't sure about being able to bring her onto campus housing. So after Ruben did some research, he found that he can bring her to campus housing, but they had to get approval. So they needed to get her registered as an emotional support animal. They had to send pictures of her to the university, which he told me that they just oohed and awed over her. And she needed to be spayed. But she was very, very tiny when he got her. So when I went down there, I told him that I would be happy to watch her. He decided to keep her, so I was going to go down and I was going to hang on to her, watch her while they moved into their apartment, waiting for the authorization to come in. And during that time, she was spayed. So I took her to go get spayed. And I have just the cone that she had to wear. She was just a monster. Oh my God. She is the sassiest cat I have ever come across cross paths with, and I at one point had 7 cats of my own. So I'm not a stranger to cats. I'm not a stranger to dogs. This cat was something different, and watching him fall in love with this cat and becoming a cat dad, I'm so glad that my boys are animal lovers. So as for my video today, I've been kind of just sitting down in the morning and writing what I wanted to do today, a list of things I needed to get done. So we have the meal plan and our grocery shopping list. I've been kind of just crossing things off as I've been using them. Okay, so just to kind of recap, if you haven't been watching all of the videos in sequential order, today is Thursday. I did a shopping through my pantry that resulted in a grocery haul for free. I laid out everything. I broke everything into a meal, and I even broke down the price, coming out to roughly $70, a little bit more. Some products I had to throw away, like the taco shells I had to get rid of. They were stale, so instead of the taco shells, I used 2 tortillas, and I ended up making some half quesadillas for Amato and I. We did the chicken cordon bleu on Tuesday, which was really good. I was just kind of disappointed at how small the cordon bleu was. So in that case, I'm wondering if probably would have just been cheaper had I just bought some chicken breasts and made it myself. Yesterday, Wednesday, on my meal plan, I was gonna make pork steaks, but instead I decided to make the spaghetti and meatball along with the garlic toast because I wanted to use the bread before the bread went bad, or we just ate too much of it and we didn't have any of it for a meal. So today I could either do pork steaks with the sweet potatoes and corn, or the beef stew. I have some home canned tri-tip, and I still have a bag of red potatoes that I need to use up and some pantry items. So these are the 2 meals that I have left for the week. So either beef stew or pork steaks, or not pork chops, or pork steaks. I'm kind of thinking that I want to do the pork steaks today. So tomorrow I have something really nice and easy. All you have to do is just roast the potatoes and then mix everything together. It's super easy. Tuesday I brought you along. I showed you what a pain in the ass it is to make the bed here in the RV, as well as doing laundry. I hate doing laundry. Everybody, I'm sure, has a chore that they hate to do. I hate doing laundry. So of course I don't like doing other people's laundry too. In fact, I hated doing laundry so much when I was younger that when my kids were old enough to understand the concept, I started teaching them to do their own laundry. So in hindsight, looking back, my boys have been doing their laundry since they've been in 2nd grade. It has been a game changer. It took a while to get the attitude and the whole, oh, I don't want to do laundry. Oh, this is so stupid. Oh, why can't you do it? You're already washing clothes. Oh, this stuff isn't dirt. Like all that stuff. Trust me, I've been there, done that. It took a while. But what I did is I created a chore list for each of our kids, Amato's kids too. And each day they had a list of chores that they had to do. So for example, let's say Monday, Manuel had to do his laundry. He had to sweep and mop the kitchen floor. And then he needed to maybe like vacuum the living room. And then that same Monday, Lizzie had to dust the living room. She may have had to vacuum the hallway and then maybe straighten up the bathroom. And then Ruben had to maybe go pick up dog poop. Maybe he was even going to be responsible for like making a dinner for us that night. Always something easy. So I just put a whiteboard in the entrance of the kitchen with the chores that I wanted them to do that day. And then luckily enough, my mom was able to come over in the morning and bring my kids to school, pick them up, hang out with them until I or Amato got home, and then she would take off. So she made sure that all that stuff was done. My mom, she did not mess around, and I know it wasn't fun and easy for the kids on some days. My mom did drop everything that she did for our kids and made sure that everything was done. She would even tell them, the more you help your mom now, the more time mom is gonna have for you when she gets home from work. And it really did, it worked. I learned some other skills along the way, but that's what I did. I made my kids start doing their laundry, and it was a game changer. So that's a great time saver for you after this long rant, that I know that getting dinner on the table can be rough when you're working a 9 to 5, or you're even working like 10 to 6, or whatever your hours are when you get home. To be there for your family can be really rough when you're working hard and you're tired. Kids are like bottomless pits. They have like endless amounts of energy. They're like old faithful. They can just keep going and going and going, and they don't realize, and they won't realize this for many, many, many years, how exhausting being an adult is, and then having to take care of little people. I also taught my kids how to cook. Manuel loved to cook more than Ruben. Ruben would avoid cooking because he didn't want to have to clean up after himself. He was just, I don't want to call him lazy. He was just, I can feed myself without having to do dishes, so he would do that. So when I would have him make a dinner, I knew it was an ordeal for him, but I think in the back of his mind, he may look back at it now and be like, yeah, you know, I kind of enjoyed it. He's enjoying it now that he's an adult and he's living on his own. But Manuel loved to cook. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do today. I have my heavy cream that expired yesterday. There's about a pint left. My coffee is getting cold because I've been sitting here running my mouth. See what happens? It just takes a cup or two. It takes just a sip or two of coffee to get my motor going. My dad used to call me a motor mouth when I was a kid because I just would never shut up. All right, I am going to take a shower and get dressed, and we're going to continue this conversation in just a minute. Okay, so now that I've had a shower and I have had my 2 cups of coffee this morning, I feel like I'm ready to get the day going. It is 10 o'clock. So if you are new to my channel, my name is Renee, and this week I went shopping in my pantry, gathered all the ingredients that have just been sitting there, came up with a meal plan, cross-referenced all the items that I had with what was at Walmart, and discovered that I was gonna save over $70 if I didn't go to the store this week and just use what I had in my pantry, refrigerator, and freezer. So that's exactly what I did. So we are on day 4. If you want, you can go back to day 1 and see that little grocery haul and the dinner that I made, which was, originally I was gonna make TVP, textured vegetable protein tacos, but the taco shells were stale. I didn't think Amato was gonna like this whey protein, so I just used 2 cans of great value chicken from Walmart with white beans, and that was all we had. I ended up making quesadillas with that instead. And then Tuesday we did the chicken cordon bleu with the stovetop stuffing and bacon wrapped asparagus. We made butter. We made bread to go. We used the whey to make bread. So we were pretty productive on Tuesday. That video is labeled Getting Shit Done. I took you on the journey of making my bed in our 5th wheel. It's a pain in the butt, so you definitely want to check that out. And I also showed you the struggles of doing laundry in our 5th wheel as well. Yesterday, Wednesday, I made spaghetti and meatballs, and we were prepping for the storm that swept through Western Washington. We were lucky. We just got a little bit of rain. A chair kind of blew into Amato's truck. That was my fault. And we enjoyed our spaghetti and meatball dinner. That was great. Nothing in the way of like a big, huge storm. Although I think the major part of the storm hit north of us towards Tacoma and Seattle. I think I'm gonna make some pork steaks and the sweet potato mash along with a can of corn, keeping up with the theme of using what's in my pantry. So you may wanna check out all those videos before you watch this one, or you could just watch this one. These are what the steaks look like after they came out of the oven. The smaller one for myself, what came in at about 141 degrees, which is perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this on a very hot tamal and let that get nice and crispy. Amados came in just under at about 137, so that was good too. So we're just gonna get these nice and brown and ready to go. All right, I have the sweet potatoes that were steaming in the microwave, so now they're ready to go into a bowl with some creams, a little bit of maple syrup, and some butter, and I'm gonna get those mashed up. I also had a can of corn. I just threw in a big pat of butter, a couple tablespoons. I added a few shakes of some chives, and the rest of my Asiago, everything but the bagel seasoning, is in there. So this was steaming in the microwave for a few minutes. So our steak is just about done. I'm gonna go ahead and plate up a serving and we will continue our chat. All right, everybody, it has been a wonderful day. Dinner is done. I'm gonna sit down and do a little taste test for you. I mentioned before that I was gonna make pork steak, but I didn't take out the pork steak. I took out the chuck steak instead. And well, let me show you what my plate looks like first. I only used a small piece of the steak. So there's still a big piece and a half. So this is what it's looking like. Look at, I think my meat came out perfect for myself. There's still a little pinkness in there. So this is what I got. I have my chuck steak. I just topped it with some of the basil that I put in my spaghetti yesterday. The sweet potatoes that were in the freezer were in a steam bag for the microwave. So I just threw those in there, added a little bit of whipped heavy cream, some butter, some maple syrup, and it's nice and sweet. It's like having dessert. I just love having sweet potatoes at dinner because it's like having dessert. I should eat them more often. And then the corn, I just dumped a can of corn in a glass bowl, put some butter in there with some chives, and I used up the rest of the everything but the bagel seasoning, the Asiago flavor. And this is dinner. I have some truffle salt that I got at a farmer's market when I was in California in September. And I love truffle salt. Amato doesn't, so I got him like a ghost pepper salt. And anyways, I'm gonna just sprinkle some of that on my steak. Chuck steak is good. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm really feeling the basil. I'm thinking that maybe I should have left that off, only because I'm not sure why I'm thinking that, but I don't really enjoy it particularly. The sweet potatoes are really good, and everybody knows what corn tastes like. All right, so this is what's left of the steak. You can see on this side, the steak, it's still looking nice and pink. So I'm sure this one is gonna be even pinker. That'll suit Amato better than the one that's even medium to medium well. And then I still have a lot of the potatoes left and a lot of the corn, but between Amato's dinner tonight and leftovers for him tomorrow, since tomorrow's Friday, he'll be able to have a nice lunch. I did drizzle the rest of when I was searing these, I put butter on top, and then after I let them cool, I just dumped all of that butter and the goodness on top of it. So those are the juices that just came from the pan. I would really appreciate it if you would also subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and leave me a comment. What are your favorite pantry meals? What do you do to save money when you're in between paychecks and you just can't afford to go to the grocery store? Do you have enough in your pantry to make your family a good quality meal that's going to feed the belly until you get paid? Let me know in the comment section how you care and feed for your family, and we can build on these conversations in later videos. So if you like that format as well, and you like some of the chit chat and Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like the video, talk to me in the comments. What's your favorite kind of steak and how do you like to cook it? Thanks for watching the video, everybody. I will see you in the next one. Bye.